Hey guys, welcome to Over and Out. We have a full house today. We just finished watching Bangalore versus Punjab. It was a really fun game. And we're in around the middle of the season now. So we just want to have a conversation about what's been going on, highlight certain teams, certain performances. And yeah, is there
So how's CPL going these days?
CPL, bro? You know what? We'll get there in like August. We'll talk about that. Keep stay tuned with the channel, like and subscribe. We're gonna talk about CPL, everything else. But right now, we're on that.
Nice.
So yeah.
Spot on.
So what teams would you guys like to highlight first, or
I
any
would say
particular
let's
games?
start with this game.
Yeah, this game started with RCB though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy's a crazy RCB fan. He's from
Yeah.
Bangalore, so why not?
I'm not from Bangalore.
You're not from
Mumbai.
Okay.
Yeah, just wanna-
but you're like from Andhra, right?
Yeah, so Andhra is
Same
not in
shit.
Bangalore.
Same
I mean, not every South.
You're
South
gonna-
India.
You're gonna lose followers for this. You're gonna lose followers for this.
I'm gonna cut that out. Okay, so I think it's a fair way for us to start with RCB. We have fans here, so I'm gonna let our guest on the show, Satyanta, speak on RCB.
I mean,
What are you thinking about their performance? Where do you think they stand currently, and do you think they have a chance in the playoffs? Realistically, not as an RCB fan.
Yeah, talking realistically, I feel like we've lost 3 games, all at home ground, and we've won all the away games.
Yeah.
That's quite surprising to me. I know that RCB has a win rate of 50%. RCB has a win rate of 50% at Chinnaswamy. So moving forward, let's see how our games play out. But I genuinely feel, given that RCB has a very good team, solid batting lineup. Given how Tim David finished the game today, we are an excellent finisher. So, and the bowling, a good bowling lineup. I mean, Josh Hazelwood, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, yes, they are the spacers. And so Syash Sharma doing his job as a good spinner. So I think we have a good team. And I think we can definitely make it into the playoffs. Not sure about the finals or even qualify too, but
So basically, same shit.
yeah, actually,
Okay.
same shit happened.
So that's what's with this story.
Calculators are out.
Yeah.
I mean, we are still on the fourth position right now on the table.
You guys
So
have
it's
a
not bad.
Okay net run rate
Yeah.
as well.
We have a good
Point
positive
four-
run rate.
Yeah, 0.446.
I mean, we are still definitely doing better than a lot of teams, which is 6 teams. And considering we have equal matches to all the teams, so I think we are in a pretty good position.
I think let's try to highlight RCB's strengths here, because I think for the last 2 to 3 seasons in the group stages, they've been one of the more successful teams, at least up until the playoffs point, obviously. So obviously there is something that's been done right in their management, and they're not ending on the last few spots like they used to earlier.
Definitely.
So what, according to, let's say, from a non-RCB fan, say you, what do you think RCB is doing good that's making them at least compete for the playoffs?
Well, I'll just really reference this game. Even though they lost, there were a few things that really stood out to me.
Yeah.
Firstly, you mentioned Tim David. Having a really good finisher in this format, goes without saying.
Yeah.
Nice to see him perform and get that 50. Just on paper, again, they have a relatively strong batting lineup too.
Yeah.
Looking at their bowling, I was really surprised by the spinner with the names.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was always making fun, saying like, oh, his action looks very it's like it takes a lot of work. But
Yeah.
he really shocked me, because I didn't know that much about him coming into the IPL this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they're a pretty strong lineup. Obviously, losing at home is pretty interesting. It's a very weird trend, considering you should be familiar with that. It's also a smaller ground, so when you have guys that can hit big, you would expect to have a really good record there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's still another half of the season to go. I feel like, given their position, they'll definitely go
Do
somewhere.
you think they're making the top 4?
Not too sure, if I'm being honest.
Okay, so that's gonna be a thumbs down.
I would call them like a wild card, if I'm
I feel
being
like
honest.
they have the typical RCB team, because if you look at the seasons from 2020 and onwards, right? They've done just enough to sneak into the playoffs, except for 2023, where they lost that last game against Gujarat Titans, where I think Shubman Gill scored a century.
Yeah.
So they have that typical RCB team to get to the number 4 position and lose in the eliminator, because that's been the trend.
That's actually true.
Yeah. I think I thought they had a slightly better team than that, because they fixed their bowling issues.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like only Syash Sharma, Hazelwood, Bhuvneshwar Kumar are doing their job properly. Maybe Yash Dayal also to some extent. He has been better this season, but I think they really I think the fifth bowling option, that's really bothering them.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've fixed some holes, but as a whole, they're still lacking. And if you look, they're placed perfectly well on the table, given that they've lost all the games against the teams that they've played that are above them on the points table.
Yeah.
Look at Punjab, Gujarat Titans, and what's the other team that they
Delhi.
lost to? Yeah, Delhi. Yeah. So they're very well placed on the points table that way, and I think there are games where their batting is absolutely firing. You look at the Mumbai game; they were firing well. CSK firing well to some extent. And then Rajasthan, they beat them by 8 wickets or something. So when their openers are firing, when Phil Salt and Kohli are firing, they're doing well more often than not. But I think when the opening combination fails, when Kohli or Phil Salt, either of them, if they don't get going, I think they're having some trouble there.
I mean, in between, just I would like to say that Rajat Patidar has been doing his job as the first down batsman.
Thank you.
I think, I mean, given his captaincy, he's a new captain, and the way he's scoring runs, even today, he was carrying the team to some extent, scoring 23 of 18 balls, carrying the team when the team was down for I think 6 wickets for 33 runs, and going from that, I mean, I was thinking that I was skeptical at first, team was not going to score even 49 runs, they're going to break their own record. But going from 42 for 7 to at least 98 for 9 or 96 for 9, and getting that runs on the board is commendable. So
I think what exactly is hurting RCB is their spin bowling lineup. They actually don't have any good wrist spinner. I mean, the years when RCB did well, they had Yuzvendra Chahal or Hasaranga.
And there's sort of a Maxwell doing that.
True, as a part-time job.
Livingston.
But right now they.
I think Suyash Sharma is showing glimpses of brilliance, but he's not doing much.
I don't think so. He's too young to be. But yeah, I want to hear what Rajat's point was. I think he's building up to something.
Yeah, I mean, my point is you cannot win a game in India unless you have decent spinner. They really have good pace bowler considering Bhuvneshwar Kumar, which is according to me a legend of IPL, and Hazelwood is very good accurate bowler, and Yash Dayal has been definitely recently playing very well. But spin, I mean, even if you see the match against DC, they did really well in power play. All the paces were good, but as soon as Suyash Sharma and Krunal Pandya were in, I think that's where they lost the game. So they really required a good spinner or somebody, or either Krunal or Suyash needs to step up if they want to qualify and really go to final.
I think Krunal has to be replaced because in the past 6 games he hasn't done anything significant.
They don't have any.
What do you think in the reserve?
Because
No, it's more like
Krunal gives you a batting option as well.
I mean,
they wanted to replace Maxwell with someone. They got Krunal.
Yeah.
He's doing that job. Not bowling well.
I mean, whatever Maxwell is doing, Krunal is doing better. So
yeah,
slightly better, only slightly better.
we are not going to start with Maxwell bashing again. I think we spent 20 minutes in the last.
No, we were fanboying.
In
the last.
So we started with bashing, then fanboying. So it was 15-minute segment just on Maxwell. So, but I think one interesting point that his point is bringing up is I was just noticing that RCB has lost all their 3 matches batting first. So that means that there is something missing in your batting somehow, because all their 3 matches the score has been 160, and now obviously today was
It's more like they're not reading the pitch well in the stadium.
So they have a good chasing side again because of Kohli and Phil Salt bringing in his magic, but this tells you that the inherent weakness in their squad is they just don't have that bowling that wins you tournaments. I've always said this, that bowling wins you tournaments. They have not had that bowling. 1 or 2 bowlers working in will not get you through because you're not winning your home games. So that's out of the picture right now.
But not winning home games has been a trend of this IPL. I don't think so.
Every fortress has pretty much been breached.
Yeah.
Like 18-year records are being broken. So
because I think it's only Chennai who won their first home match.
Yeah,
Other than that, I don't think so anybody won. Hyderabad also won it, but right now they are at bottom of it. So apparently, I think winning your first home game has been very
cursed for them.
Very cursed for them.
So
before we move on from RCB, I think one thing they've done well in this mega auction is that they've got a good core of Indian batters, which they weren't able to do because earlier there was a stat that the highest Indian run scorer in RCB. After Virat Kohli was Rahul Dravid. So I think they've gotten a good core.
But he hasn't played that many matches. I was listening to
he's
that.
played 3 seasons.
No, it was Dinesh Karthik
So that-
actually.
3 versus 18.
No, Dinesh
There's no comparison
Karthik
whatsoever.
barely crossed. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? So they've gotten Rajat Patidar and then Devdutt Padikkal as well, who's showing glimpses for sure. He's showing that intent. He's getting those quick 25 runs. He needs to know. He needs to do more than that. He needs to do more than that definitely. But it seems like they're getting things right. They're just there. Like they have the right players and a few holes to fix for sure. But then I feel like they have a team again to like sneak into the playoffs. But if they really want to win the IPL, they need to get to the top 2.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
not
Like
a
you
surprise.
rarely see teams going from the third, fourth
Yeah, I
place.
think only
this
SRH
has
has
happened
yeah.
like once or
SRH,
twice, maybe.
Yeah, just SRH.
Yeah. So I don't think RCB has that kind of power to win IPL from a third, fourth place. But okay, on a count of 3, if we were to just like rate RCB, I know Sase already gave his. Do we think, given the mid-season mark, are they making the playoffs or not? For me, it's a.
I think they'll reach number 4. Yeah.
Yeah, they will.
I think they would like
Of
finish
course
at
you're gonna
fifth.
say.
They would be again talking about
Yes.
their NRR,
Yes.
but I don't think so. They are reaching.
Yeah.
Considering the late resurgence of Mumbai, I mean, maybe they can.
I
come
mean,
up.
that's.
Oh, that's a very interesting one because I saw a meme where you know that split screen between Rohit, Kohli, and Hardik Pandya. Hardik Pandya in that Mumbai versus RCB
Okay.
game. You know, Kohli was celebrating and Hardik Pandya is just looking at.
Why was Mumbai Chennai?
Mumbai RCB? I was talking
Okay,
about
okay.
RCB at
Sorry,
Wakade.
yes.
No, Hardik Pandya just looking at them with vengeance in his eyes. You know, he was just like, I plotted the perfect comeback. And like couldn't finish the game. So
That's
more like
Ambani's
a-
money.
that's more like an interval block for the IPL
Yeah.
where things started flipping from Mumbai from there on. I wouldn't say that things started flipping in reverse for RCB because they just lost one game. They did really well against Rajasthan as well, and they're playing against Punjab again on Monday.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
a
wouldn't
very interesting game.
yeah.
So we have 2 people saying no. We have 2 people saying yes. What was yours?
I mean, I'm kind of in between. I said that I kind of
You're
consider
not-
it like a wild
you're
card,
not-
so to speak. So yeah.
Sure. So you're on that 5th spot as well. So.
I mean,
Okay, I think it's a good point for us to move to other teams now. We have so much to cover. So next team we can discuss Punjab. I think Punjab has been a very promising, and I think it's a that breath of fresh air kind of life into the IPL season now. Everyone's expecting a lot out of Punjab, but what do we think? Like,
I think what RCB is lacking, Punjab has it. I mean,
Yeah.
given these stellar performances of the spinners, I mean, as you saw today, I mean, Chahal last game, like taking a 4 for an amazing bowling, restricting that KKR to score 111 runs was amazing. I think it was out of this world performance, and I've seen very few performances in IPL like that.
Yeah.
And even other than that, the batsmen doing their job, especially Shreyas here. I mean, he's standing up as a captain, scoring massive runs, even though he can't get a century. That's unfortunate, but scoring that runs, 97s, quick 80s, getting that total on the board. I think that has been really beneficial to the Punjab team. The openers, Prav Simran, doing his job as well, scoring 12, 20, 30s, 50 runs on the board, getting that runs in the power play. I think this is quite important. More than that, they have, I don't know, we can agree that Maxwell is not doing anything. And he was had out for today's game as well.
That's a good
So that was a pretty good decision. I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, Neil Vadera, Shashank Singh in between, as finishers. Marcus Stoinis is doing his job. Josh Inglis,
Yeah.
they have been pretty quick. And kudos to the Pacers as well. I would say Harshdeep and Mark Hansen. I mean,
They have a winning side for sure. They're showing glimpses of what a winning IPL team usually looks like midway through the season. But this is where winning teams and not winning teams differ. Because the last 5 matches are so crucial at some point, especially for that first 2 spots. Because right now, in my opinion, you have Delhi and GT both in line for that first 2 spots.
Oh yeah.
And they're playing flawless games, almost flawless games. So Punjab will have to fight a lot and they'll have to win those crucial games. For example, that next game against RCB, they have a home game. If they're able to somehow defeat RCB in this one, I think that sets the tone right for them, so that they'll be fighting at least for that second spot, say. So, what are your thoughts on Punjab?
I feel Punjab feels very similar to Delhi Capitals in 2018. That is when Ponting came in. So I think
Yeah.
it's not like the player. I think it's about the coach.
It's the management. You
Yeah,
can
the
see
management.
the
Yeah.
Australian
The Ponting
fight.
magic.
And funny enough, I think I saw a clip where I think Preeti Zinta, she literally agreed that the management, like the owners were too much involved in team in
Yeah.
earlier years. This year that is not happening because Ponting is like a very strong
Oh, yeah.
character. He won't allow
They
that.
needed him. Like he'll push back if that's something that he'll get from the owner.
So the environment seems very similar to Delhi Capitals environment in 2018 because that's when Shreyas became the captain.
Yeah.
And Delhi actually started performing
They
really
went to
well.
the finals once,
They
qualified
were-
in the playoffs,
Yeah,
top
for
of the
3
table,
consecutive
so yeah.
years, Delhi qualified for playoffs.
Yeah.
So this feels very similar. It's just about like if they can cross that hurdle and win the tournament this time or not. Like
Yeah.
in 2020, unfortunately, they met like the mighty Mumbai in the final and they were not able to
Yeah.
go through them. But this is very similar to Delhi Capitals script in 2018.
Yeah, I think the difference in this Punjab team is that they believe in this time.
Yeah.
Because it seems like
I think they've always been.
no,
Every team believes
no,
them.
I don't think so.
No, but at the same time, like, I mean, I'll
Yeah,
let you
go on.
finish. But the thing is, like, from a
Yeah.
psychological perspective, you mentioned about Ponting coming in,
Yeah.
right? When you have a coach, just even aside from this franchise cricket,
Yeah.
we know Ponting is a very strong character,
Yeah.
right? You know, he's one of those guys that when he comes in, like, it's just like
Like,
no bullshit,
yeah,
honestly, right?
When's
I
the
would-
only thing he thinks about?
Yeah, and also just looking at the way the squad played, like we can talk about, oh, they have the particular pieces and all, but something just felt like they're more connected, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's a level of trust involved with your teammates. Like I was watching again, like Broad, the left arm orthodox spinner, that was bowling the death of this.
Hardeep Broad?
Yeah. I think, you know, like he's like in comparison to other guys, like, you know, a smaller name than like Chahal or
Yeah.
etc. But at the same time, there's a level of trust when you can put a guy like that up front.
In, like,
and
the
really
red
just,
over especially.
yeah, really just, you know, you trust that you can do that. It really shows that there's on a more psychological side of the game,
Yeah.
it's a bit more together.
They're
It's
taking
some-
more risks for sure. And
Yeah.
sorry, you
Yeah.
were saying something.
Yeah, so I was just saying, like, I felt that they were believing more. I mean, obviously on paper, yeah, every team believes, but it's more like on a psychological level, they believe that they can make it to the top four this time. If you look at seasons through 2020, 2021, I'm talking about the recent past when
Yeah.
KL Rahul was the captain, Mayank Agarwal was the captain.
There was
No.
Ashwin captain as well.
Ashwin
like,
back in
some weird
2018,
season.
yeah.
17 captains.
2018
I
and
think, they had,
2019.
right?
Yeah, they've changed the captains over
17,
each and every
17
season.
captains.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So there's more belief and more stability because I think in 2020 they were losing games where they would score 200 and then Rahul Tewatia came in and switched the game around for them. And then and in 2021 they couldn't make 6 runs of the last over against Rajasthan Royals or something. Yeah. And it was some guy called Karthik Tyagi who
Oh,
defended
he's
that.
a damn good pacer.
Yeah, I don't know where he is right now, but
No idea, yeah.
yeah. And in 2022, they made Mayank Agarwal the captain. There's no stability there. In the next season, they replaced him again,
Yeah.
and then Shikhar Dhawan came in. He probably wanted to have a longer run, but then had an injury and then ended up
His career
retiring.
was quite
Sam
short.
Curran was the captain for half a season, so there was no stability there.
Yeah.
This season, it looks like there's more stability, and I feel like they've scouted better this time. They've gotten someone like Priyansh Arya.
They had the
Yeah.
purse for that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
they went in very like strategically in the auction.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna waste that money on any player whatsoever.
Exactly.
So
Absolutely.
and they made good use of
And
that.
then they had first few very good matches, and then they met SRH where they lost a game that they should have fought a lot more closer than it was. I mean, chasing 214, 18.3. I don't think it's justifiable. I think
Yeah.
it deserves to go to the last over. And then again, they seem to be losing their way against KKR. They got all out for 111, and they
The
somehow
bowlers pulled them back,
the
yeah.
bowlers pulled them back, and also to some extent KKR also threw their wickets away, except for Rinku Singh.
Yeah, it was quite
Yeah.
stupid of
Yeah.
KKR to go
If
that
you come to
far.
think of it, Ramandeep Singh walks in and there was no ball of the century for him to get out like that. He's trying to scoop one behind short third man, short fine leg, sorry. Didn't work out. And then other batsmen, Rahane not reviewing that LBW, clearly, pitching outside, not pitching outside, impact outside off stump. And then, all the onus was on Tejas Yambu and Sheep that game.
To KKR.
So yeah, no, but I'm just talking about that Punjab versus KKR game. So it's more like everything was on Russell on that game, and I feel like when they had that sniff, I feel like they got that belief back. Oh, we're in this, we're back in this. So they have two strong characters in that team, Shreyas Iyer and Ponting. and I think those are like driving the team forward from there on. Yeah, and I think before we move on, I think Shreyas Iyer was the captain for DC and Ponting was the coach for DC as well. But back then, I think Shreyas Iyer was a little inexperienced, but right now he's having a dream run. He's won the IPL last year, won the Champions Trophy, and as captain, he also won the
Smack as well. Trophy, Ranji Trophy.
Yeah, so I don't think he won the Ranji Trophy. I think Ranji Trophy was previous season, probably.
I mean, but he has won 5 trophies or 6 trophies in the past 2 years.
Yeah, so exactly. So and that's the thing, right? So they have like very strong leaders now. Ponting was always a strong leader. Shreyas Iyer has fully developed into a strong leader and also a very strong batter as well. Because earlier he was very good in ODIs and Test matches, but I think he's showing that he's got the build for T20s as well. Obviously he had a few innings here and there, but now he's being consistent as well, scoring those 40 ball 80s and 90s consistently. So I feel like those strong characters are driving the team forward, and it wouldn't be any surprise. It would rather be a surprise if they don't qualify for the playoffs.
Okay, so everyone I think can be on the same page that we think that Punjab will qualify.
Something's not good.
No, I really feel one statement which stood out for me was that Rishabh Pant didn't want it to play for Punjab.
Yeah, he said thank God.
Yeah.
We are a breather. So. But yeah, I mean, that's backfiring on him.
Unless he's performing pretty bad.
No, I mean, it's justified for him to say that given how Punjab's management has been for years, right? It's justified. You don't say that as a captain. You don't say that in interviews.
Because that can backfire on you.
It's a justifiable thought to have.
No, but Pant also worked with Ponting during DC time.
He was in line probably to be the captain. And if Ponting would have been there and Shreyas going to KKR, the next choice was obviously Rishabh.
Yeah.
Pant was actually the captain last year also with Ponting. So I have no idea why.
Not amazing, but
true.
Yeah, I think for Punjab, and again, everyone can just chime in a little bit on the strengths. For me, I think it's that if 1 or 2 players are not performing, there are always other players who are performing or like chiming in somehow. So it's a team performance. Whatever win they've had, sure, Priyansh Arya's 100 and everything was great, amazing, but every win that they've had other than that has been on the backs of more than 1 or 2 players. So this is where the difference comes in. That whole Punjab KKR game, the differentiating factor was when Chahal started getting those wickets, there were other bowlers as well. So that's one strength, and that's a very winning mentality strength. That's a very, again, Ponting, reflecting on the team. So that's one thing. And in terms of a weakness, I think what can probably happen with Punjab is they might run out of puff.
Oh yeah.
During that last phase, that sometimes you spend so much time, energy, and given that you don't have that experience in playoffs, one bad move and you can pretty much be done and dusted for the.
They can be done like in an SRH. I mean, if one player collapses, the team is collapsing, and
we saw signs of that.
Absolutely. I think that's a major concern. I feel because they are on the same line with SRS. They are like just go hard.
Yeah.
But that doesn't work always, right? If the pitch is doing slightly, you need to be.
Yeah. It came awareness.
Right.
As simple as that.
They're not going to make up in the top 2, definitely, but top 4, yes, absolutely.
Does anyone think they're winning this season? That's an interesting.
It can be a possibility, but given
they're not even thinking that they're making top 2 in the season, so you're actually thinking 3rd and 4th, then they'll win.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, quite bullish. Let's go to the bottom feeder teams now.
CSK.
Yeah, I mean, no, that it is what it is. So we're going to the Momentans now. I would love to hear what Osaze has to think. He's a neutral party in all of this. He's more of an outside observer fan in IPL.
Firstly, I think Hardik Pandya's his leadership as captaincy, I really like that. If you go back to one of those earlier videos I was in, talking about Rohit Sharma and his level of captaincy, and I won't go into all of that, but I do think that transition was really good for Mumbai. All their players, I mean, I don't really know. They're just pretty standard to me. Mumbai's always a team that's been in the running, so like they're kind of like just to compare it to football, like I don't know. They're like a legacy team in it as far as things go.
You can't discount them.
Yeah. You can't discount them for sure. So I'll go with that. I don't really have anything else to say like in terms of individual performances until like we get going on that. So.
I'll speak after all the other questions.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What I feel about Mumbai is like since Bumrah joined the camp, I think their morale is all-time high, and that is being reflected in the last two matches. Although the way Karun Nair treated Bumrah, that was not very pleasant. But Bumrah is a world-class bowler, and I think he joining the camp has definitely improved Mumbai's morale, and they are performing really good. But to be very honest, I don't think so. They are gonna make top 4. I think this is just couple of matches
I agree.
that they are winning.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. They are going to 4.
There's some, I think, for some reason, I feel like there's something wrong within their management.
It is.
I don't know what exactly it is. Obviously, obviously, money can't be a problem in that. I know for a fact that MI players are treated the best, like or at least one of the best in the camps, and they have a very good scouting facility. Everyone knows that they, like have the best of the equipments and whatever in terms of at least the grounds and whatnot, and they're taken well care of. But I think it's gotten in their heads that they're a champion team, and it's somehow not reflecting on the field. So there is, like everyone needs to be humbled a little, which is what's happening with CSK, which is what's happening with MI for the last few seasons at least. So that's what's being wrong. MI can bounce back, but I think as of this point they've won 3 out of 7. So we have 7 more games left, and ideally a team needs to win around 7 to 8 to qualify for that 3rd, 4th spot at least. The top 2 teams are usually on that 10 or 9 or like sometimes 12 as well in case of PT. So for them to win 4 or 5 out of 7 games, I think they might, even if they're able to let's say win 4 games, that will be more of a that 4, 5, 6, all of them have same points, but the damage was already done in the earlier portions of IPL. So that's where they'll be on that wild card. So I'm not going to discount them, but I don't think they will convincingly make the playoffs.
One thing that is missing from the MI team is their opening pair. They're not performing. They are
Ryan
Cricket and Rohit Sharma.
So very flaky players.
I mean,
Both of
he's getting 20-30 runs.
Yeah.
That's
Rohit
it.
Sharma hasn't even scored that much.
Yeah, Rohit Sharma scored 16 or 18 runs, which is his maximum score. I think he scored 23 runs in this last game. 26 runs in his last game. I think that was his highest score throughout the past 7 matches. And that is not how you open for a team like Mumbai. And when there's a good score on the board and when you have a good back, so you know to score those, make that 20s, 30s, and 20s, 50s during that power plays. I think that is missing from that over MI effect, I would say. Because Rohit Sharma has not had a good run in this season since the past 7 matches. Again, Bumrah getting bashed, but coming back in the last game, I think that was a fantastic bowling, I think, against SRH. And I think, Trent bowled, good pacer. I think, they can bounce back easily. But given that they have more 7 matches and, against good teams, and all the teams are in form right now, I feel this is one of the best IPL in the past 5 years. So I think it will be difficult, but I think they can make the top 4 if they play consistently well. And they're dependent on, again on the middle order.
So you're not that bullish on them, basically.
Not a lot.
There are a lot of ifs and caveats.
Yeah, I mean, their opening pair is not performing. If they start to perform, I think they can surely get into the top 4.
So you think that's what's the missing link?
I mean,
I can point out more than that.
I mean, one of the major links that is missing is the opening pair. Because if they are not getting the runs, all the pressure is on the, tail-enders and the middle order batsmen, which is not ideal for a good team. I mean,
sorry, you were saying something.
No, I was gonna ask him more so because he talks about the opening a lot. You said it off fine. Ryan Rickleton he does have a decent score this season. So I'm wondering, maybe he got a little bit out of form for this. He's coming off the back of SAT 20 run in January as well, where he had a breakout performance too. So, just looking at their batting lineup just on paper, Will Jacks, Tilak Varma, etc. I personally do think, like you said, it is possible for them to get to that point as well. It's just how long will the bad run of form continue for? That's just.
His opinion on Mumbai, his favorite team.
My opinion is not very extravagant as you would expect for since I've been
No,
going for a
I was
while.
expecting you
Yeah,
to like
but-
bust us all like.
No, here's the thing. So as you mentioned, like if there's one team that's like come out of this situation like this,
Yeah.
more often than not, it's been Mumbai. They've
Yeah.
done it in 2014. They qualified, by winning that last game against Rajasthan Royals.
Yeah.
In 2015, they lost the first 4, and then they won 10 out of the next 12 games to win the title.
Yeah.
And then and then in the subsequent seasons, they haven't like had a losing streak as such, but they've lost the first few games and still been able to make a comeback, right?
Yeah.
And if there's one team that's retained the core in the past like 7 or 8 years, like if you look at from the team from 2018, Bumrah, Surya Kumar Yadav, Rohit Sharma, Hardik Pandya is back now. So a team that's retained the core, it's been Mumbai. So these are the players who know how to win the IPL.
Sorry, one thing. Don't you think it's kind of falling back on them?
Oh yeah, so we come to that.
Retaining the core is a good idea, but you have to see if your core is even performing or not.
Yes, so that's the thing. So that's the thing, right? They're performing everywhere else in the world, I feel. But you look at Hardik Pandya, he's doing well. Bumrah doing well. Surya Kumar Yadav now the captain of the team. Rohit Sharma, yeah, you can say that he's not doing well in the IPL, but like he won. No, I don't know. He won the T20 World Cup for us. He played extremely well in that Australia game. He played extremely well in that England semi-final. So and then played extremely well in the Champions Trophy, different format.
Maybe
for
sit
sure,
him
but-
out in a game or two.
Yeah, maybe ask him to find that find that fix for his batting.
Yeah.
I
100%.
think being
But,
being an impact player shows a lot.
No, I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's just that like he's a player who always stands in the 30-yard circle. But if you're not the leader, if you're not driving the team forward with your,
I think
your
they want to
tactical
make a
skills,
statement that it's not going to be that CSK or RCB
Yeah.
kind of leadership. That captain's one and the leader's the other. So they're trying for Hardik Pandya to find that rhythm with the team because with Rohit Sharma present on the field, sometimes, and again, I'm not my management, but this is what I'm thinking. He's not the best of the fielders out there. He's an okay fielder.
Yeah.
So you get a bonus fielder by replacing him. Plus, you're also giving Hardik Pandya that leverage and command over the team, so he should feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So
No, I feel
it
like-
might not be possible that MI wins this one. I don't think anyone
Yeah.
sitting here would be
No,
very
so
bullish
that's
on
the thing.
that.
So that's the thing. So like you were talking about, right? Ambati Raidu made a very interesting statement. I saw the purpose where no, this time he made sense.
Everyone started smoking when Ambati
No, this time he made sense because he wasn't talking about CSK. Yeah.
Not CSK, Thala.
Oh, Thala, yeah.
We never talk about
so I think
Dhoni Paglu.
Thala fans.
I think Sanjay Bangar and him had an argument where Sanjay Bangar was like, would you want Rohit Sharma to be in that field because you're underutilizing him by just having having him as a batsman because you're not using his tactical skills. And Raidu was very clear on that everyone's a captain in that team. Bumrah just captained a few games in the
A lot of strong
BGT,
figures.
Yeah. BGT. Hardik Pandya was supposed to be the next India captain. Wasn't to be. Surya Kumar is the next India captain. Rohit Sharma still captain in the other 2 formats. So everyone's a captain in that team, right? So like, why do you want so many people in your ear all the time? It's Hardik Pandya's team. He should be leading the side.
Yeah,
So
exactly what I
exactly.
said.
So it's not that CSK setup where Dhoni's gonna be in your ear all the time. No matter how much you deny it, he is like controlling at least. He was controlling at least 40% of it.
40, I think you're being a little like.
No, because I'm
Underwhelming.
I'm being underwhelming here because Dhoni denied it himself. Otherwise, I would buy it, but alright, like I would bring the number down.
If a captain is standing on the boundary lines, you already know that there's someone else controlling the threat.
Yeah, 100%.
I want for us to move on CSK now.
Yeah.
We're talking about failing franchises. So that's one example.
Wait,
Yes,
before
commercial
we
exit.
move on, I don't want to cut you off, but in the first episode of the IPL edition, we predicted that it was going to be a Mumbai versus CSK final. Neither of those teams.
No.
I predicted, but we predicted them to qualify. We predicted.
I didn't predict Mumbai to qualify.
I didn't predict CSK to qualify.
Yeah,
But
so-
we had CSK. And
Yeah,
Mumbai, like,
I had CSK in the scene. So I had Hyderabad, CSK.
CSK is
DC,
doing a
Punjab.
lot.
This is what I
CSK
had.
is doing a lot worse than Mumbai though.
Oh, any day.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think again
Losing 5
being
games.
a CSK fan for ever since I can remember, I don't think I'm also very bullish on CSK. There are obvious problems in the team, and the problem is again that you're relying on too many old folks and too many. Like that team does not have that winning killer Like even with the 22 season that they won against Gujarat.
23.
That was a fluke.
That's not true.
It was not a
It was
fluke
not a fluke.
because
Final match
you
was
had a
You
few
know where you
even
don't win a final off.
yeah. They reached that final, so that's all. And
Yeah,
they were in
top
that series.
two.
Yeah, they were in the
Winning that
top
final
two.
was a fluke.
No,
I would
I
say.
don't
No,
know.
not
So
really.
scoring that last 10 runs by
So
Jadeja.
that's when Mumbai won 2 finals with like one run.
Yeah, they won one final with
That's
one
how
run against
you win by
CSK.
bare
So,
stroke margins. That's
so
what
I don't
happens.
think so. But what problem? I think they are relying too much on leadership rather than players. You can't win everything based on leadership. It's not like you can just always take blind people and get like rob a bank if you have a mastermind. So you need to have a certain idea of what teams are doing well now. For example, Delhi, Punjab, RCB, Gujarat, all these teams have placed their trust on young players.
Absolutely.
We don't see that in MI, in CSK, especially in CSK. So it's now catching up to them. I'm sorry, I have no hate against Rahul Tripathi, I have no hate against, what is that guy's name?
Huda?
No,
Deepak,
Huda, and what's the
Vijay.
third guy?
Vijay Shankar.
Vijay Shankar. All these players have been has-beens, and okay, maybe Deepak Huda showed some promise last year, but you can't have those in your middle order, especially when your top order is not even working. Rachin Ravindra has been sort of a hot and cold kind of player in T20s, so he's not that reliable. Gaikwad is out of the picture, probably like the one true batsman that they have in that squad except Rachin. So that's out of the picture. Dhoni is coming in towards the end, he's trying to do something. But again, you might not have these situations. There will be points, and there were points in the season so far where he came in at a point where it was pretty much not a job for a 44-year guy. So yeah, sorry, you were saying something.
I mean, just talk about Dhoni. I mean, giving the captaincy from Gaikwad to Dhoni, I think that was a very bad decision by the CSK management.
But he's been
I mean,
injured.
even if you win,
Who else?
I mean, you can give it to a young player. Maybe okay. I'm
Who
not
else?
saying
There's no young player
the
in the
thing is,
team. That's the
Just,
point.
okay, so just to somewhat counter that, play devil advocate here. Don't you think? Because one thing I was mentioned earlier is like when you look at a team like CSK, right?
Yeah.
You have Dhoni there. Obviously, he's going to be calling some shots, but you still have Gaikwad. Now that he's unfortunately out of the picture, do you think having just one guy who is essentially like the out and out captain, there's no like pseudo captain calling the shots? Don't you think in some way that can help? Just I guess like
The team come together because if there's a puppet captain, everyone knows that Gaikwad is not there. They're not going to make Dhoni captain, so let's make this random person captain.
No, Shivam Dubey, Rachin Ravindra.
I
I know.
But then the
they're
same
not-
issue occurs.
They're young players. I know. I mean, look at the other franchises giving them the chances, right? Look at Rajat
Again, it
Patidar.
also
Look
de-
at Punjab.
It
They are
also
giving
depends
these
on if the
young players
player
a
wants
chance.
it. You don't give captaincy to a player who's already going through a bad form. Because it is very hard for anyone to come into that role when you've lost like 5 out of your 7 matches and to take that team home. You go with the safest and the best tested option, which is the most senior player and the most successful player in IPL. So that's not an issue. I can't blame Dhoni in this. I think there are a lot of problems they need to address, and it will come in probably next season or whatever. Now, you have to remember, in this mega auction, CSK probably had the worst of auctions. Why? Because they did not go for main players. They'll have to retain a lot of them. They'll have to play with them until the next auction appears. So this problem is going to stay for some time at least.
So you're saying the essentially somewhat obsolete almost.
I think it's a dying team. It's more of it needs a revival. Like for example, how Punjab, again, nothing's been proven yet, but how Punjab and Delhi at least have tried something else. So it's like you're making the same recipe, it was working for you until it's not working for you, then it's horribly going wrong. So you need to evolve with the game. So CSK is one team that has not evolved with the game. MI is on the same track, but they've been fortunate because most of their players have been young. So they're in that 30s range, which is still fine. So
What I wanted to say is CSK is very similar to. Huh?
Should do in CSK.
No, I mean what I'm saying is CSK is very similar to how Pakistan is playing right now. They are playing outdated T20 cricket.
Yeah.
In top 6 players, I don't think so. They have any scary player. I mean, when I see Rachin Ravindra, I know he's a very good test
ODI
batsman,
player.
very good ODI player, but I know he cannot do like 15
He's
ball, 40
unproven.
or
He's
something like
unproven.
that.
Yeah.
Other than Shivam Dubey, I don't think so.
He's
they have
struggling.
any player
He's
who
struggling.
is scary.
Devin Coleman?
Devon Conway is also not.
I mean,
he's
I
a
would say
top
that
right now.
Devon Conway is in the same. He's like cut from the same cloth as a guy like Ravindra, to be honest. Like you gotta remember, he's a guy like he came on the scene in Test.
He's not explosive.
Yeah.
Another thing which I want to point out, they have. I think CSK has probably best spinner. I would say in Noor Ahmed, Ashwin, and Jadeja. But not even in a single game, all of them were bowled out. So not even in a single game, they got 12 over of spin. So when there is a team who is just latching on their spin prowess, and if they are not able to bowl 12 overs of spin, I mean, you are not going to succeed.
I think
specifically in Chepak, you should do at least 12 hours of 12 overs.
Like
of
that's
spin.
your fortress. That's been the most successful home ground for any team. Any team that plays in Chennai's home ground is always scared because that's been the track record. So now with RCB breaching the fortress and other teams will probably be like, hey, they don't have that well of a team, so they were going to play in the same ground anyway. I think CSK backed the wrong players. So before the IPL started is where it went wrong for them. I know that I was very bullish on them after the first match when we did the podcast. It did not look, it kind of looked like, oh, it's the same formula. But I was heavily wrong there because obviously it's catching up now. So
yeah, before we move on, I want to make a point as well. Sorry about that.
Yes.
So I feel like you use that word, formula. I think there's a couple of formulas that they've gotten wrong this season. The first formula being get the old guys and revive them. This has been going on since 2018. Ambati Raidu wasn't that old guy back then, but they got him from Mumbai Indians. He had stellar performances with Mumbai Indians, but he wasn't in the limelight always. And they revived him. Gave him that opening spot, revived him. Shane Watson. Like we'll go in chronology, right? Shane Watson revived him again, and then he had a stellar season. He won them that final. In the next season, he didn't do quite well as they would have thought, but in the final he got a score of 90 or something. So he got them close in that second final as well. And then you look at someone like Rahane, you mentioned. They gave him that second life as well, and Rahane did extremely well in that team. So he was instrumental in getting them to victory in that team. So they've been that side that would always try to latch onto those players and have belief in them that they would come good at some point, and that has gone wrong for them. But if you come to think of it, this formula went wrong in 2020. In 2021, no one gave them a chance. They won it. 2022, they were like, oh, maybe 2021 was an aberration. So 2022 went bad for them. In 2023, again they won with the same formula. So people are like, oh, maybe we're wrong here, right? Because they're winning titles. They won a couple of titles, right? With the Daddy's Army tag. So and then in 2024, So in 2024, I think you use the term where some teams run out of steam. And I think that happened with them in 2024, where they started off well, and then they lost back-to-back matches against Lucknow. And from there, there was one game where Marcus Stoinis scored a century in Chepauk, and the entire crowd went silent. And there was one Lucknow fan, and there are no Lucknow fans in the entire world, but there was one in that Chepauk stadium. There was one Lucknow fan in that Chepauk stadium who was absolutely losing it.
Did you see? Sorry to interject. Did you see? There's this guy, this extreme fan, with body paint and everything. He was getting beaten up by crowd outside probably the Bangalore or Hyderabad stadium. I'm not sure.
Oh really? The Chepauk guy, the Chennai guy.
I don't know. I don't think he's the same guy. He looks quite like the guy with that wig and yellow paint and whatnot. He was people are removing his wig and it's hostile. Because people are fed up of Chennai always winning, right? So now they're like, no, you eat shit because now you feel like how we feel all the time.
So Chennai fans have always been disrespectful towards other teams' fans.
Come on, man. I'm a Chennai fan.
Not you specifically.
Okay, but I've never seen a single Chennai fan.
You can say this about RCB fans.
Come on.
No, I feel like
MI fans, I'm sorry, have been arrogant as hell.
And then they've been very bad with their own captain last year.
MI has been that way.
I mean, okay, CSK fans are just Dhoni fans. Imagine Jadeja all getting out, they're just cheering him or cheering Dhoni.
Sure, yeah. So
everyone is getting out, they're just cheering them on. That is just bad behavior on a basis of team.
I think it is an interesting point because
if you
once
remember the
Dhoni
game,
goes, I don't think I'll be a CSK fan. Why? Because for me,
I mean, that is for all the franchises. Come on. Kohli goes, no, half of the RCB franchise is over.
I don't think so.
And Rohit Sharma goes,
No, I don't think so.
no,
RCB
no,
women's
no.
team had such a good following. They won that IPL and then the entire.
I'm not saying complete.
I mean,
I'm saying
RCB
half.
was just desperate
No,
to
I'm
like,
saying
that's why
that's
I won the
why-
trophy.
Yeah.
So, we women's
Okay, I'm just saying half. I'm not saying completely,
Yeah.
but not about CSK. I'm talking about RCB and MI here. I mean, after Rohit and Kohli are gone, I think the franchisee fan following is gonna go to half.
Yeah.
Not completely down, but yes, because I mean, okay, majority. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm an RCB fan. Majority of people I know that are RCB fans are there because of Virat Kohli. Right, and once Virat Kohli leaves, I think that franchise is gonna go down, and they're gonna start supporting their own state teams, which I'm 100% sure that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I want to just like add a point to what you're saying. As much as you're saying like, oh, once Dhoni's gone, Kohli's gone, etc., different those teams are going to diminish. Don't you think it's also I think ironically that is supposed to happen because it's cyclical.
yeah.
Because think about it, now you have
100%.
like with another team like Gujarat, you have Shubman Gill captain. I feel like it's a thing where like it's sad to say, but I think certain teams have to die to let newer ones
Yeah,
emerge,
absolutely.
and then the cycle just continues.
Rule of life.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm agreeing with you.
I don't
100%
think
here.
these teams will die.
Yeah.
Because the brand value that they have is obviously far bigger than whatever individual player there is. Okay, let's say not Virat Kohli, but Dhoni has not been in the international scene. It's more of it's a legacy that he's been playing since 2008. He's won so many cups and titles. This is how fans are gonna be. But maybe after a season or two, maybe the CSK management brings in changes and makes it like a team of young blood, and that's when you get the fans back. I think we can go on to a team that we think that might qualify, and that could be Delhi.
Who's definitely qualifying, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Not even one.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. But
I mean-
I think Delhi has sort of followed suit, or at least has been an example of good leadership, and they have backed tremendously on Akshay Patel. Everyone's thinking KL Rahul is going to be the captain, but I think backing on Akshay Patel has sort of paid off until now. They've played, as we mentioned, flawless games, near perfect games. That only game that they lost against MI was an anomaly, but the other games they bounced back strong, especially that Rajasthan game that happened. What a game! Like, defending 9 runs in the last over. Stark was not bowling that great for the first 2 overs, but the last 2 overs that he bowled pretty much changed the entire game. And then him coming in again in the super overs. I think Rajasthan just had a brain fade because you were 100 for 1, chasing 180 something, right? Cruising along. You had Nitish Rana scoring runs, 20 of 50 balls and whatnot.
Yeah, everyone's scoring.
So you had Jaiswal coming back in form, and Sanju Samson got retired hurt. That's unfortunate, but you had wickets in hand, right?
Yeah.
So I thought for a second that this game's gone. And again, Rajasthan had brain fade moments in the last 2-3 overs. They did not capitalize where they should have, and especially in the super over. Why the hell would you not send Nitish Rana? You're sending Riyan Parag who's getting to run out on a wide ball.
I also feel like Yashasvi Jaiswal should have been the other opener. I don't know if you guys agree, but like Jaiswal is that power hitter in that team. If Samson's not there, Jaiswal should, I don't know. Like look, Hetman.
He was hitting Stark, and it was obviously going to be Stark.
He performed well in that match as well. I mean, 51 in 37 balls is good.
So I don't know what happened there, and Delhi was just like, oh, Rajasthan made a huge mistake here. We're gonna.
I feel like Parag shouldn't have been there. I'm fine with anyone other than Parag.
So the logic behind that was what I feel is basically Stark was reversing, right? And he's a very good, he's a damn good bowler when the ball.
Wouldn't they give him a new ball?
No. I think like in a super over you play with the same ball which they did. I think they don't get a new ball.
I did not know that.
And the point is, if you saw how Nitish Rana got out, Stark is extremely effective against left-hand batsmen. So you cannot send both the end because they sent Shimron McMahon, which is a left-hander.
Yeah.
He almost got bowled first ball.
That ball that went back 4.
Absolutely. So you cannot send 2 left-hand batsmen in front of Stark. And I think if you see right-hand batsman, Samson would have been the one, but he was injured.
But again, sending in Parag short, but there's a wide ball. The other batsman's right next to you. You are not even looking like that's a brain fade moment. You didn't even play the entire 6 balls. Like that, if you are not able to do that in a super, you're bound to lose. So I think that's where Rajasthan made a mistake. Rajasthan has showed good promise with the bat. I think the bowling has been very weak somehow. Like this Sandeep Sharma thing is just not working out anymore. I think people have sort of figured out that he's going to bowl slow.
He bowled like 5 wides in a 4
Yeah,
or 5
exactly.
wides in a over.
So I think he's also trying too hard to make a comeback, and he's been a player who's always made comebacks. But their spin department is somehow lacking. Letting Yuzi Chahal go again, huge mistake. So I think Rajasthan made mistakes in letting Butler go, letting Yuzi Chahal go.
Butler was a big
Yeah. Now they're regretting. Butler's again back in form, even though Butler was
Again, we are drifting away from DC.
Yeah, I was gonna say once you're finished, like, because we're
No, I
focusing.
think we can talk about both the teams.
Yeah, we can.
side.
You know what? Let's just bunch them together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't want this video to be too long.
Let's discuss Jofra Archer. I mean, starting from that first game, man,
I don't
that was
think-
brutal.
I'm gonna be very brutal here. I don't think he's a player to be discussed because he has, for up till date, he has not shown that he's that class of a bowler for the amount of respect that he's got. He's always been making a comeback.
Yeah.
He's not made a comeback.
Absolutely.
More like he had that one good World Cup final and a good Ashes following that, and
Yes.
then like he disappeared.
So coming back on the DCRR discussion, I think DC is definitely making to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't think they have done anything wrong yet, but this is where champion teams and good teams are different. So let's hope that this stays. My bold prediction is that I really think that this is going to be a DC Punjab final.
Yeah.
So
DC winning it.
You know what I think? I feel like DC is gonna have that 2014 Punjab season where they went through till the final.
They already had it in 2020, so
Yeah.
this time they should go one step.
I mean,
So
yeah.
2020, I think Mumbai was much better, but clearly Punjab was much better in that season. So I
Yeah,
feel like
I remember that.
I mean,
season.
DC is
I
back
think
in
they won
like
like
everything is
Yeah.
complete like the 2020 MI actually. Mukesh Kumar, Mitchell Stark, Kuldeep Yadav, Akshar Patel, and in batting you have Karan now.
Vipraj Nigam, he's
Oh, yeah.
a very promising player.
Yeah.
But I remember the
Yeah,
first
that's
match, he scored like 15 ball 30 something, and then he took wickets as well. It was an amazing match.
Ashutosh Sharma,
Yes.
you have KL Rahul. Now KL Rahul, good player. Why he's scoring amazing runs? Why? Because he has no pressure on him. And he's
No, I
only
mean, like,
he loves
so-
his position. I think he's scoring 50 runs. I think he scored a 50 as well in one game. I think.
No, I feel like he's moved on from the strike rates are overrated mentality. Now he's come out and said that, oh, I've realized that in T20s it's all about scoring boundaries.
Yeah.
So, and he's doing that. He did that in Bangalore when he was like, this is my ground.
He looks calm.
Yeah. He looks calm and he
The
looks
last-
aggressive.
Yeah, the last season where he was playing in Lucknow,
Yeah.
given the captaincy pressure, I feel he just took it so much on himself that he has to finish the game.
Yeah.
He was wasting so many balls. Did you see how he was striking in those?
Yeah.
It was ODI level striking, and everyone was like, probably this guy should get out and get other players like have that chance. So he's not able to accelerate at the right moment like how Kohli does it. for
Yeah.
example.
But I think at the same time, with that part of that pressure as well, let me just look at like their top 4, top 5. I mean, I just have it right here.
Yeah.
Just looking at. I mean, Fraser McGurk,
Yeah.
on and off, but like
Just over it.
when he's
He's been
on,
off.
like
He's been
when
off.
he's
Not
off.
off. Not
No,
off.
look, I'm just saying.
He should
that-
replace completely, bro.
I agree with you, but I'm just saying, like,
I mean,
if you
7
look at the
matches-
pressure, I think Rahul can trust those guys around him.
Yeah.
To do
Yeah.
it.
Like, even if I
Abhishek
fail,
Patel,
because
etc.
someone will, pick
Yeah.
up the slack.
Yeah.
Abhishek Patel,
Yeah, so
Karan Nair, man.
okay, let's try
Tristan
to not
Suns.
discuss the entire squad.
But I feel like one person who needs to be discussed, I think I said that
Sure.
again,
Mhm.
I said that in the previous episode as well, is Akshar Patel. He brings that stability. He can be a pinch hitter and he can also be that
I
stabilizing
think he's been a
batsman.
proper batsman.
Yeah, yeah.
Pinch hitter is an understatement.
No, like,
proper
there have been
finisher, I would say.
There have been times where he's come out and hit like a 20 run, like 14 balls or something.
Yeah.
And like he's been a pinch hitter in some games, but like in that sense, he's a proper batsman as well, right? So he's got that, he can bring, that's what I was trying to say. Like if they're scoring well, then he can be that pinch hitter. If there's a collapse, he can bring that
So yeah,
stability.
game awareness basically.
Yeah. But I think he needs to do a little more with the ball because in the last game he got his first wicket of the season.
What?
Yeah. When
7 games.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think maybe. Yeah.
So I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah.
his captaincy is flawless. Till now, his captaincy has been amazing. His batting has been amazing. I mean, we can cut him some slack with the bowling as well, I feel.
Yeah, I think-
Kuldeep Yadav is covering for him. I mean,
Kuldeep Yadav doesn't have to cover for him. It's just that if Akshar Patel is bowling well, those 200 plus targets made by other teams are going to drastically reduce. And this is how you win. Because, okay, sure, you chased it one time. with a 60 for 5 or 4 collapse. It's not going to happen every time. And if it happens in the end stages of the tournament, that's it. So you need every player to be performing somehow and contributing. He's been contributing with the bat, great. But I think Akshar Patel's job is not batting. His job is bowling.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's
He's a
coming
bowler
as-
who can bat. He's a very, very good all-rounder. So he has to play that Jadeja role in his prime. That's what he did.
yeah.
So
You know what I think? He's what we thought Vijay Shankar was in 2020.
that whole aura around,
Yeah.
that, oh my god, this guy is gonna smack you.
Number 4 batsman got
That number 4
Yeah.
missing link that has always been India's problem. But again, we're going into a different segue. But what are your thoughts on Delhi and Rajasthan bunched together? Let's say.
But yeah, I think Delhi's making it for sure. Rajasthan, I don't know.
I don't think so.
Nah.
I don't think so. Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
Rajasthan themselves
Yeah.
think that they're gonna make
Yeah.
this one. I think we can move on to other teams now. What are we left with?
LSG.
We can talk about
There's
KKR
LSG,
first.
KKR and Gujarat Titans.
Gujarat
So we
Titans.
have 4 teams.
Oh, we have some good teams.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Let's
some
talk
good-
about DC for a minute.
Oh,
Come
yeah.
on, I'm the avid
Oh,
DC
sorry.
Okay,
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 yeah,
okay,
quiet for a while.
I think
Guys,
that
I'm
is-
making it
okay,
wrong.
no. I
Okay.
mean, as a DC supporter, this has been.
You're
I'm
also
sorry.
a DC
Yeah, I
supporter?
have been taken things with
Yeah.
DC like since 2008. My love and hatred for players has been like whether they are playing for DC or not. I mean, to be very honest, I was an avid Pant fan, but since he moved to LSG, I'm like, no, he's not a good
He
player.
moved at the right time for you guys.
To
at
be
least.
very honest, yeah.
So, yeah.
So one thing which I feel is not talked enough is about DC coaching staff. So this guy, Hemant Madani, I was when he was appointed as a coach after replacing Ricky Ponting, I was like, who the hell is this guy? But when you see his portfolio, he went to Sri Lanka. He won Sri Lankan Premier League. After that, he went to I think South Africa. He won in South Africa Premier League, as well as last job was with ILT20 and he won it there. So he's coming from a good, like he knows how to sort of
How to
make
win
strategies and
tournaments.
stuff. And this combination with Akshar Patel, who has been like the chillest guy of Indian cricket team,
Yeah.
is like doing wonders.
And isn't Munaf Patel also part of the
Munaf
Delhi
Patel
squad?
is
I
bowling
think
coach,
he
right?
would-
I think they just
Yeah,
have
we look at
one guy who is like well known, is Kevin Peterson. Other than that, all of them are like very low
Sort
key
of
kind
like,
of
yeah.
thing, which gives
Under
a
the
vibe
radar
of
players,
CSK management, like when
Yeah.
they were doing really good.
Yeah.
So
There's one more person they've gotten rid of. Prithvi Shaw.
I think cricket has gotten rid of Prithvi Shaw.
Yeah.
DC. It's been again we're not gonna go in that
Yeah,
discussion.
I was just making a joke.
Yeah.
Make your
yeah, I mean, thanks God. Yeah, I mean, we got.
I think Delhi has sort of weeded out their problems.
Problems.
If
Yeah,
that
sure,
makes any
sure,
sense.
sure.
Or whatever they weeded out has become a problem for other teams. So
Except Ricky Ponting, yeah.
I mean, another thing is like Delhi's owner during like auction
oh yeah.
is
Mastermind.
Insane.
He's meme
Insane.
material, like
Yeah.
literally how he gets the players.
Like at the end moment saying, no, bro, that was amazing.
Grandmaster Gogo.
If
So
there is an IPL for IPL auction, like, getting a trophy,
You would be-
Delhi
you would
is
win it.
like is more successful than Mumbai and Chennai combined. I can tell you. But yeah, fingers crossed. Like
I think
I
everyone's
hope-
bullish on Delhi's.
yeah,
final.
this
So
time
they're definitely getting into top 2.
Yeah.
they should win this time. I mean, Delhi franchisee,
Well, I
unfortunately,
hope so,
like
please.
like they have been making 2 finals in various other leagues, even in South Africa. I think they have Pretoria Capitals.
Yeah.
They are reaching
Pretoria.
finals, but every time they reach final, they are losing it.
Even the women's IPL.
Yeah, even the women's
But
IPL has to
Delhi
have
is
Chinese
this
team.
time, right?
No,
Mumbai.
it was Delhi and
Mumbai
Mumbai.
DC, yeah. And
Then
DC actually did very well in the.
DC has been losing 3 times.
Finals 3
All the
times
three
and they have lost all.
Yeah, all.
I think there is some problem with the name.
Chokers.
I think
I think it's a good point for us to go to the Lucknow Super Giants.
The grass is not always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
Bro, look at how he's performing, man.
I think
So
Lucknow,
sad.
there's a problem with Lucknow's fan base. They just don't have
They don't have a fan base.
What
What are you
fan
talking
base?
about?
much.
What
Let's
fan
say
base?
much. But I think it's a team that sort of will always fly under the radar until they actually go to the finals. So
until they change that.
I mean, see, Lucknow. Look,
It's
see,
okay.
Lucknow has been performing decently, I would
Yeah.
say, because see, they've won around 4 games out of their 7, which is pretty good. They're in the 5th
They're
position
still on
in the
the
points
fifth
table.
spot, so yeah.
I mean, I agree. Rishabh Pant has been not been performing, but they have been solely relying on Nicholas Pooran.
Yeah.
And which is completely true. But given that they have won 4 games, so no one is questioning them.
That's a fair point. What are other people's thoughts
What I
on?
feel is considering Lucknow's bowling, like they are pretty well placed. I mean, I think they have the worst bowling of all the IPL teams. They don't have any big names.
Mayank Yadav is
Mayank Yadav,
He's
yeah,
he's not there,
he's
so-
been returned.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think
he's-
that's gonna be
yeah,
nice.
I mean,
he's
see,
right.
they have Akashdeep, they have Ravi Bishnoi,
These are
they have
not
Shardul
okay.
Thakur.
So you're
not
not.
great
If your
names.
prime bowler is Shardul Thakur, I'm sorry, there is some problem.
Yeah.
So their reliance on Shardul Thakur, even with the bat sometimes, and he has given them that. Ravi Bishnoi is just having a very bad time.
Yeah.
So with the quality of bowling that he has shown over the past few years, I think he's having a very, very bad time. So that's that. But your prime bowler can't be a Shardul Thakur. No hate, but he's an all-rounder. That's what his job is. He's coming in and bowling the second over, and every batsman is able to pretty much bash him. I think it's spin.
Shardul Thakur?
Yeah, no. Has he been good?
No, he's taken wickets early on in the power play, but it's more like those are. He's not taking wickets on wicket taking deliveries.
Yeah.
He's more rather like
there'll be a full toss, player will try to hit and
Yeah.
he'll get
I
out
mean,
of
I
the
think
point or
they-
something.
If he's getting wickets, he's getting wickets, I would say. And
Yeah, I
you
think
know,
the
you'll
luck's
be-
gonna run out at some point. There was a reason why he
That's
went
very
unsold.
ironic.
I mean, that's why Mayank Yadav is.
Fucking ironic.
I mean, if Mayank Yadav does come in, I think that's good.
There was a reason why he went unsold in the auction because the luck started running out and then got him back in and then the.
I think he's a replacement player, right?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
a
he's a
replacement.
replacement player for.
Yeah.
I think Digvesh Rathi is actually carrying them up. And
That's
it's
that
funny.
guy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the
Yeah,
guy
yeah,
who's
yeah.
known
That impact player guy.
It's so funny that he's only getting 50
He's actually
lakhs.
their best bowler, by the way.
They have
Right
to
now,
fight.
yeah.
So he Lucknow got that player for 50 lakhs and he's already fined price 10 lakhs each. So he's only got 20 lakhs. So I
It was utterly stupid. Why would you keep doing it?
I think Wenger is going to cover that.
No, yeah, I think it adds to the fun of cricket if somebody does that. But I think you should allow these kind of things.
I think you can allow it when he's doing it. Like,
He was doing it
fast
on the
all
ground, even then he
Yeah.
also got
Oh,
fined.
he
Even
did?
if-
Yeah.
So the third time he did it on the ground, he didn't even go near the player.
I think Harshit Rana got fined last year a bunch of
Yeah,
for that
kissing
flying
it
kiss.
for-
Yeah. I mean, it's a little extreme, but this is what the rule is. So.
You know, back in the golden days of IPL, Karen Pollard would come in with a sellotape on his mouth.
Yeah.
Do you not remember?
He
that?
threw a bat at
Oh
Stark.
yeah, and he didn't get banned for it.
No,
Yeah.
that was actually so funny.
Yeah, and he threw it, but it didn't go towards him. When he threw the bat, Stark and Gambhir and Kohli have fought so much. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna make this a little quick. Lucknow, is there anyone bullish on Lucknow qualifying for sure? Or
Yeah.
it will be a wild
I
card?
feel yeah.
No, I feel like they could, but the issue
okay,
is.
look at Markham and Marsh as well. I
Mm.
mean, look at their form right now, scoring 80s, 50s, and
Yeah.
each and every
Aiden
match. I don't
Markram,
know.
I'm sorry, he's a South
Okay,
African. I don't trust him.
Okay, he started last time.
So,
Okay,
sorry.
look at Marsh though.
Marsh
Marsh is in fantastic form.
Marsh is in great form.
If you have 3 good batsmen as openers and Nicholas Pooran combined, getting a total of 160 on the board already, and you're maybe adding quick fire runs with the next middle order batsmen and finishers. I think that's a good total. 200 is a good total, and you can achieve, and maybe with good bowling with Mayank Yadav coming in with Digvesh Rathi. I think it is easily defendable. So I think I'm a bit bullish on Lucknow as well.
That's good. Okay. Because in the last episode, me, Sarthak, and Perry, we were talking. I told these guys that if Lucknow's player are in fitness form, they have a chance. If not, they won't. It's as simple as that.
My thing is just with them, I feel like what they have going on, I question how sustainable it is. Like, in the
Yeah,
long run.
exactly.
I mean, because like realistically, I even saw a video on this recently. Like we were just talking about how good Pooran's been the whole season. He's coming off like, not the best recent bit of form.
Yeah.
So for him to get back to that is great. Thing is, I'm talking about over a couple of years or so.
absolutely.
But at the same time, him being that guy, great. We talked about Thakur and then how they're kind of being a bit over reliant on it. I feel like further down the line, if they can keep it up, theoretically sure. But the thing is I feel like there's gonna come a point, they're going up. March is coming in. Mark, we talked about that as well. But I feel like they might actually get to a plateau.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have 7 more matches. If you qualify, you have 3 or 2 more matches as well. So yeah,
so
you're right.
I think they have a decent chance.
They would be the 4th team to qualify.
They could.
I think they
very well could.
They're definitely the team that will fly under the radar.
I think they might have a fan base after.
Yeah, the thing is, no, I think they've been to the playoffs a couple of times before this, so yeah, like I won't be surprised if they make it to the playoffs, but I really don't want to see them in the playoffs just because I don't like that.
Wow, that's just getting late, man.
Prejudice at peak.
No, I mean, I think y'all was the previous episode.
What's wrong with Lucknow?
Yeah. Because I just don't like that team.
He just hates them.
Yeah. No, not just me. If you want the previous episode, it was you as well.
Again, I mean, Lucknow has been in news because of going cup.
No,
and if they
just
qualify, under Punch season, being the most expensive player in this IPL auction, that would be great for his image and the reputation that he has had in the past.
But it's more like how much longer is Pant going to get away by not performing in the IPL? Because we talk about Rohit Sharma's non-performance in the IPL. Pant is in a very similar category.
He's been equally bad.
Yeah.
So
he's you'd love to see a guy like him perform in the IPL. He's a very aggressive batter. He does well in Test matches. Right? It's very ironic that he does well in Test matches. But but I'm not very sure about after that Gavaskar and Pant fiasco, he played a very good innings in the 4th Test match or 5th Test match where he got that 60 off 30 balls in a Test match. So he's had that caliber, but for some reason whenever he's batting, it feels like he's losing his shape. He's falling around, and if you're doing that and you're still scoring runs, it's fine.
But to be honest, I think when we look at a guy, if we're gonna actually analyze Pant, if you look throughout his whole career, I feel like he's kind of always been this way, but it just works so well that you can't critique it.
It's working until it's not.
Exactly.
It just works under Test cricket. Only in Test matches. I mean, have you seen his T20 run? Even in the World Cup, did you see his T20 run? During the Pakistan game is when he performed the best.
And even in that, he dropped
4 catches were dropped.
It's more like in Test matches, the fields are closer.
He's a little bit of a different brand of cricket, but again, at the end of the day, most successful players have game awareness and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, when we talk about these kind of hitters, we can just point out to SRH.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just feel like players like these have short careers.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Ishan Kishan.
No, the problem with Pant is he's playing on a Lucknow pitch, which unfortunately
is
is
a very
not
slow pitch.
It's a very slow pitch.
It's been very slow historically, but
It
this
has
season it's been a batting pitch. Zahir Khan came out in the press conference and he was like, when we were playing against Punjab, it seemed like the curator was supporting Punjab. He said that in the press conference.
That has got no logic, but
No,
in
but
general,
that's
Pant
what
will
he's saying,
perform
that
really good if
they
it's
want
a
to
flat
see,
track. If he would have gone,
that's what I'm
let's
saying.
say,
This season he's getting those flat tracks. But
it's still not a flat track because the average score still this season has been roughly around 160, 170, which is a typical sluggish Lucknow pitch.
But look at it this way, right? The orange cap leader is Nicholas Pooran.
But he hasn't scored well in Lucknow. He has scored well outside. So
but he can. Yeah, that's the thing. Pant has to come good outside and somewhere.
Game awareness.
His highest score is 26 runs.
Yeah.
That's
No,
not
he
enough.
scored 60
63 against CSK.
fair enough.
They ended up losing that. So, so I think, do you want to finish your thought?
I mean, I was just gonna make the segue to another team.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do as well.
Okay.
So I think we need to.
Yeah, we're just talking about the big hitters.
I feel like we're talking about that and what's sustainable, what's not sustainable from a batting point of view.
I think
SRH is
SRH is
I don't know.
pretty much a reflection of when Rishabh Pant is.
Yeah,
Completely. I'm gonna go no matter what. If it works, then I'll be the most feared guy, and if it doesn't, then any team can pretty much come and push
To
me
be
around.
fair, it's a very entertaining thing to watch. I'm not gonna
And
lie.
Rishabh Pant is
there's no-
entertaining to watch as well.
See, there's no stability in the team.
Yeah, no.
There's no stability in the team. I mean, if one gets out, everyone gets out. If one starts hitting,
That's
everyone
true.
will hit. And it's not how an IPL team is supposed to be. I mean, you have to have some stability of one player at least, like Kohli. I'm not saying Kohli again, but one player like him, who has that, okay, if everyone is collapsing, I will not collapse and maybe I'll add a few runs to the board. Not with the same strike rate, not with the 200 strike rate, but yeah, with the 150 or 130 strike rate, I would have some few runs on the
And
board.
that comes from the top/middle order, right?
Yeah.
And they have
There's
zero
some
words. They have zero players who will actually come and take in the responsibility. maybe Travis Head, but Travis Head has either gone ballistic or he has just pretty much gotten out.
But
So
the thing with the guy like Head is like, again, he's almost Pan-esque in the sense that his whole career is very much been like, you're the guy that like, if you want, you like just hit if you want to, right? Even when he plays for Australia in all formats, even though he's very reliable, he's able to bat for those long periods of times.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's still very much his brand of cricket.
But
And the fact that he is the
extreme.
no, yeah, but the thing is, think about it. The fact that he's still, I guess, that same archetype, for lack of a better
Yeah.
word, and he is their best option to be a core.
Yeah, so you
anchor,
obviously
that's
don't
top
have an
four.
anchor
That says a
there.
lot. Mhm.
Yeah. So like we were just discussing before the show that Handed Klassen, I'm yet to see this guy actually perform in a game that matters. I just don't understand. Again, he's a good white ball player. He's a very good white ball player. But with the amount of reputation and clout he's coming from, he's getting paid more than Virat Kohli in retentions.
That's bad.
Tell me one game where he actually took SRH or any team for that matter from 55 to 180 or like a 190, which is a respectable total.
I think last 2024 first match against KKR, I think he won them, almost won them.
Again, almost.
Sure, that's one game. But
Yeah,
can you think of another?
You can't live off on one game.
World T20 finals.
Again, he did shit. So
He tried to win it.
No, he got the
it's not about obviously every player tries. Even Bhuvneshwar Kumar
No, like
in
Kohli
batting, he tried to win it.
But
But
come to think of it, Kohli had been trying to win it for India for ages until he did it finally. So like you keep doing that until you
Yes.
eventually do it.
So he's not even doing that much. But again, point is that you'll have bad days. You can't have 240 plus scores every game. It has been proven, widely proven, because everyone was thinking after the first game and even ourselves that they're going to qualify. It just went horribly wrong. They were scoring those exact same runs in 2 matches combined. So you obviously see that Nitish Kumar Reddy's having an average season, let's say. You have Ishan Kishan who failed miserably. He's made like 30 runs in the last 6 matches. So he's had a bad season so far, and he's not going to ride off on the back of that 1 century that came in. It's a thing in the past now. So I don't think anyone will be very bullish on Hyderabad making it in the playoffs, given that their nature is flaky and it feels like the team is contradicting what Pat Cummins stands for.
Absolutely.
I kind of agree with that actually. I think oddly enough, because everyone focuses so much on SRH's batting lineup and their like variants of what they can and can't do, that like we kind of sort of forget their bowling a bit.
Yeah.
And even if you look at certain games, like on paper they have a decent setup, but like still I feel like it's not. Yeah. But at the same time, I feel like they're also not playing at the caliber they could be. I do think to an extent it's because when you have a batting lineup like that, it's just hard. Because I mean, think about it. If you're a bowler, right, you're coming into a game, you say, okay, my top 5 is either gonna give me one of the biggest scores to defend,
or 150.
or like you know what I mean. Like psychologically, I feel like as a bowling unit, that would definitely.
I think they're taking
trigger
too
as
much pressure, given that the batting unit has failed more than it succeeded.
How many games have they won?
They won 3.
No, they won exactly the same as CSK.
Two.
It's just that they were a little bit better.
so
Yeah,
they
they
won
won
that
2
first game
against
against
Punjab and RR. Both were high scoring games. So basically, if the batting order collapses, then the team loses.
Yeah.
It's just that. And I mean, Shami is also not in form. I feel like, he's one of the greats of Indian cricket bowling.
Oh, for sure.
And he's not, living up to his mark. And we have Harshal Patel, Pat Cummins, Shami as pace options. And I think they can do a wonderful job defending all the totals, even 160s.
I don't think there's chemistry in SRS.
Yeah, there is no chemistry.
Like how Hyderabad was actually a bowling team, they've transformed themselves into a batting team. But
Since
the
last year.
bowlers and frankly the entire 11 is just not gelling well for some reason.
I think coming into the IPL, we all thought, and I can say for everyone that SRH was supposed to be a great
On
team.
paper,
At least
very
top
strong.
4 was 100% guaranteed.
Yep.
And now that we're in half stage of the IPL, I think it's safe to say that they're not qualifying. And
But I feel like they can still upset a few other campaigns.
They'll definitely upset every team possible.
but they're not qualifying.
I feel like they're more so a team that's just like they can wreck anyone, but they themselves like.
It's more of a crab.
Yeah.
If you restrict their batting lineup, you're gonna win. It's just easy.
Yeah.
It's
Because
not easy.
no, they're batting.
They're getting hit for 280 runs. It's not easy.
No, I'm saying if you can restrict their batting lineup to a minimal score, maybe 160, 180, even you can win easily.
Yeah.
Because their bowling lineup is not up to them.
I guess we can move on to the next one now.
I mean,
for sure.
We can leave KKR for the end.
We have GT, KKR.
A bit of
We have-
I mean, I would want to talk about KKR first because GT has been the top of the table.
No,
and
it's
top
fine.
of the ground.
We want to like do a little bit of KKR bashing. So we can,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
KKR has actually been the least interesting team in this IPL, in my opinion.
No, I mean
Along with
the
CSK,
most
along with
interesting, the most interesting team given the last performance.
Yeah.
I think it sort of happens when you win an IPL, you have that hangover.
Yeah.
No, I feel like
you make wrong decisions.
I feel like more than that, it's the fact that they couldn't retain a few players in the auction, Shreyas Iyer and Mitchell
So we
Starc.
are doing KKR.
Yeah, let's do KKR. And also their entire coaching staff, which moved to the Indian team setup.
Yeah.
And now there's news that Abhishek Nair is moving out. Anyway, that's irrelevant. But yeah, so coming back to that, they still have a very deep batting lineup if you come to think of it. Quinton
They
de
do.
Kock at the time,
They do.
at the top. Who's opening with de Kock? Narayan. Yeah, he had a very good season last year. And then 3 down is Rahane, who actually hasn't done anything wrong with the bat. I feel like he's had like more than a couple of very good games with the bat. And I think they lost their way out against Lucknow, was it? Where they were chasing 212 or something, and they were well on track with winning. But then I think after Rahane got out, they fell off.
For a team that has a deep batting lineup, they've had 2 collapses.
Yeah, that's
around
right.
that 110
Yeah.
mark, where Mumbai, I think one was against Mumbai, one was against Punjab.
Yeah.
So it obviously shows that you don't have anchor players.
Yeah.
You have players that can either hit again. Pretty much the
No,
same
but I
as what
think
SRH has. It's just that they just don't have those players that can score.
I feel like they do have one anchor player in. I mean,
And
they have
Rahane.
2. There's
Yeah,
Rahane and then Ankuresh Raghuvanshi is also a very good.
Again,
batter,
these
but
are
he's very
all
young.
proven though. Like,
Yeah.
when was the last game Rahane won them? Rahane is a good player. He's turned out to be a very good T20 player.
I think he scored runs in games where they've lost. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, fair enough.
So in a losing cause, if you have more games as a losing cause, you're not an anchor.
I feel like yeah, fair enough about the
I
anchor
mean,
player, but also.
I think that's a bit harsh. personally.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you're batting first, like, the first game with RCB even, like, he scored a 56, which is not bad. Considering
I'm
that
not
they put a
bashing,
good
I'm
score
not
on the
bashing
board.
Ajinkya Rahane. I actually quite respect him. But what I'm saying is, he's taken on a role of an aggressor. That's not his job. We need that. But we also need, he has always gotten out on points where it was crucial for the team to bat. For example, that Punjab game.
Yeah, Punjab.
You should have won that game with Rahane in form and everything. It turned tides.
I feel like, okay, yeah, I mean, fair enough. And I feel like even in that game, I mean, yeah, it was a mistake. A mistake is a mistake, but that should have been reviewed.
Exactly, he is not even out. So
Exactly.
you're not even valuing your wicket that much as a captain.
And it's more
That-
like, if you're a captain, just go for it. I mean,
Yeah.
more often than not, if it's a little doubtful, right? If it's
I
a little
would not
doubtful.
want this man as my captain. He's not, look,
No, I mean, I feel like if it's obvious, it wasn't obvious.
He's taking responsibility at least, after even if you heard the press conference after he said that.
Oh,
I mean,
no, there's nothing wrong with it. He's always been a good leader.
Yeah.
More than that, okay.
Yeah.
So look at his runs. He is scoring runs consistently.
Sure.
But you can't rely on one
Okay.
player because that has been the problem for many franchises in the past.
So-
as for example, RCB on Kohli. Now, entirely KKR is relying on Rahane scoring runs, which is not fair. I mean, Russell can come in at the end,
Russell
score a
can't
quick-
do shit. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
score a
Russell
quick
has had-
5-20 runs.
Russell is a has-been now. Every time you think that, oh my god, that Russell innings is coming, that Russell muscle bashing is coming,
Yeah.
he will get out.
Yeah.
That game, he got bowled. It was,
That was
so
so bad.
easy. It was so easy. You just had to defend. You had so many balls left.
Yeah, that was so bad.
And also, I feel like Rinku Singh is not living up to the hype.
Yeah.
Last
People,
season,
people are making plans on robbing him, right?
They
So
said the
just to give you a
money
bit
has
of a
done it.
cultural reference,
Uh-huh.
he comes from a very poor family, right? He was playing absolutely well. He was retained for like 50 lakhs, which is not a lot of money, like less than $100,000.
Oh, yeah.
So he was playing absolutely well, had a golden time, got into India, and now he got retained for like what 14 crores.
16
or whatever.
crores.
So now he has a lot of money.
That's 2 million,
basically.
yeah. Which is
And
like-
ever since he's gotten a lot of money is when he's not playing. So now people are like they're organizing groups on Facebook and like whatnot and saying that we're gonna rob him so that the prime Rinku Singh is back.
He's getting
That is
he's getting like 30
actually kind of funny about it. Like, that's actually.
I mean, there's one player that I want to talk about is Venkatesh Iyer. I mean, I don't know. He's not living up to that mark of what he's supposed to be and what the hype was around him before this IPL started. Given they had a great season last season as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean,
No.
maybe. No, okay.
We would delve into a full discussion into this, but
In
I'm
what
really
capacity,
talking,
yeah.
but I'm not talking about the team. I'm talking about Venkatesh Iyer,
Yeah.
where it's more like people have spoken about this, but I still don't get how they retained Venkatesh Iyer over Gill in 2021. Like I feel like that. I mean, yeah, we won't delve into a full-on discussion into this, but that was a bizarre decision. Like. I feel like Gill was the upcoming talent.
He did kind of make mistakes in the auction as well.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
letting go of Stark, letting go of Shreyas Iyer, the biggest of all
Shreyas Iyer
mistakes.
demanded 30 crores. I mean,
Again, we don't know that.
We don't know that,
Yeah,
and
it's-
plus
it's-
it's
it's
justified. It's justified.
Honestly, okay, 30 crores looks like a lot,
But there's one more
but
catch.
when he's won you the tournament,
Yeah.
you somehow can reach a negotiation table.
No,
Unless
also
he didn't get paid 30 crores
And also
in
there's,
the auction. So,
there's a catch here, right?
yeah.
Like the purse was also a little bigger this time than a normal IPL purse. So I feel like it's justified for him to get that amount. He got 27.5 in KKR.
26.5.
26.5, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
off by
So-
1 point. Yeah.
I guess, honestly speaking, KKR won the last season not because of just because of the leadership. It was just that everyone was somehow
Performing
performing.
amazingly.
Yeah.
It's just not happening anymore. That's what's been wrong.
Now
Shreyas
they're
Iyer is
relying
not
on
the
their
first
leadership.
captain to win them a trophy, and
Yeah.
he's not going to be the last. I hope so. So again, I'm
I
just
mean,
saying.
it's also one of those like legacy teams too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when you think of IPL, you think of 4 teams, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
And after you think of any other team. So KKR is one of them. So I think they're just gonna have a bad season. They're gonna have to deal with it.
No, that's a very interesting point because if you look at the previous game, right?
Yeah.
They needed 50 runs in like some 70 or 80 balls, and they lost from there on. And there was this thing, the stat that not a stat, but just a speculation in the commentary box that if they win it in like 14 overs, which they could have, they would have been at the top of the table. So they weren't having a bad season as such. One collapse and we're all counting them out.
They've
right?
actually won 3
But
games.
yeah, so
Yeah.
so that's the thing. And that's the thing that I made. That's the point that I made about Rajasthan as well. In this scenario, in this time of the tournament, right? These are games that you need to win,
Yeah.
and they've lost that.
It's too much pressure
Yeah.
towards that after
Back
that
end,
10th
yeah.
game when
Yeah.
it goes on.
Yeah.
It's like every spot there is 3 teams fighting.
Yeah.
Or
I think
every
they've
spot.
lost this. They have lost the edge now.
The
because of this
aura is just missing somehow, and that is how it's going to be. I don't think anyone here is very bullish on KKR qualifying, so we can move on to the last one. I think this is one team that everyone thinks can qualify, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
Gujarat
Yeah.
Titans,
Yeah.
last not the least. Again, I think Gujarat Titan, what they've proven so far in the last 3 seasons that they've been the part of, 4 seasons, is that they've always been consistent. Even though they've had a terrible season last year,
That was because of leadership change. But
again,
yeah.
sure. But what they've shown is that simple cricket can win you.
Yes.
It's not like they have flashy players and they have players who are hitting like ramps and scoops and whatnot, and at like moments when they don't require. You have players like Sai Sudarshan.
Sai Square, Sai
I
Square.
wanted to talk about it, yeah.
Sai
So
Kishore.
amazing player. He deserves all the praise. I think he's been so consistent in all the games that he's played in the last 4 years.
He's the type of anchor. Sorry, cutting off just one thing.
Yeah, no, please.
He's definitely the type of anchor. I think every team.
Any team would pay.
if they had
big
to
bucks.
get one type of person,
Yeah, big bucks.
they would get a Sai Sudarshan.
So he's an aggressive player who also knows how to pace his game. So he has a very Virat Kohli kind of mentality, and he has the technique to do that.
Yeah.
So that's very rare these days. With like, however the players are coming in, like they're just like not standing and scoring runs, anything except standing.
It's a breath of fresh air.
Yes. So that's good to see. Like, cricket's alive because of players like these. So, and again, coming to Sai Square, the other part of the square, Sai Kishore, he has been bowling well. Spin has been working for him. He's been backed amazingly by the management. Ashish Nehra backs his bowlers, and he is one of those players who genuinely wants their bowlers to succeed, and that's why they won in their debut season, which is, I don't think, ever happened before.
I think
a new team coming in winning the IPL.
Yeah.
I don't think that has ever happened before.
Since 2008.
I mean, that's every new team. New team coming into the. So yeah.
But one thing that I would like to say is,
Yeah.
okay, so coming into the IPL, again, no one thought about GT being, one of the greats or top 2 on the IPL team. I mean, we can all agree because there were much stronger squads around. Like, at the start of the tournament,
It's
that,
about
we
being
felt,
balanced.
I mean, and when the first match started and they defeated Punjab, that was it. Like, that was
What?
the moment when I think they defeated.
No, Punjab won.
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad.
Punjab lost their only game against.
No, GT
they
lost
lost 2 games.
Yeah,
They
GT lost 2 games.
Punjab
Oh
lost
yeah, they lost against GT. Yeah.
No.
No, not GT.
2. No, but they've lost 2 for sure.
Sorry.
Yeah,
GT?
yeah, they lost 2.
GT.
GT lost against LSG and Punjab.
So only team with 1 loss is DC. Yeah. Go on.
Okay. So yeah. Sorry, you were saying something.
No, I was just saying Siraj coming in,
Yeah.
bowling
Yeah.
he never bowled in RCB.
Their form back.
Never bowled in RCB.
That's a very interesting point. He came to Bangalore and he bowled the way he's never bowled. So, yeah. But also, I think GT had that reputation in 2022 as well when they had that auction that this team's like what did the owners do in the auction, but then players like Saha and a lot of the other utility players like Rahul Tewatia and all of them. That's what I would call them because that's a very good
GT is a
person.
very,
He's talking
very
like it's
similar to
basketball.
the
Role players.
It's a very
more like-
similar team to the Rajasthan Royals of 2008 when you felt none of the players are stars or something
Yeah.
like that. But they somehow know how to cook.
All of them are
No,
contributors.
no,
There's
I
no
mean,
player who's
no.
lurking off in that side.
It's
That,
because
that
it's
is
just
just
working as a unit.
They are working as a unit, and I feel the most laziest squad. I mean, I would say not squad. The people who go out and find the players has been GT's one because I think they only attended TNPL.
Yeah.
All their players are basically coming from TNPL, whether it be Shah Rukh Khan, whether it be Sai Kishore, or
Sai
Sai
Sudarshan.
Sudarshan. They are just like if you are doing good in TNPL, the next placement is in Gujarat.
If you're giving them results, then I don't think there is a problem with it.
No,
I mean,
and
they have results.
Another guy which has been doing really well for them has been Prasidh Krishna. I
Oh,
mean, he
yeah,
came
with
out
his
of-
He's also.
I think
he's from
He's
TNPL.
always
so-
been a good player. He just
Yeah.
hasn't got enough chances in the Indian side.
Yeah.
But now I think people have started realizing after that fifth
Fifth
match,
test
Yeah,
match.
yeah.
yeah,
True.
that he deserves more chances. So I think GT's bowling has been great. GT has that firepower with Butler coming in now, and we have
Solid
David
middle
already. Gill and Sai Sudarshan obviously have been doing great. I
Another
think Gill needs to find his
Shafin
edge
Osman?
again.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
It would
That's
be-
a good pick as
It
well.
would be fun to see DC's bowling and GT's batting.
I mean,
Yeah.
we'll get to see them tomorrow.
Oh, it's
And-
tomorrow?
Yeah, it's
Nice.
Over
Yeah,
what
that's-
time?
It's
Well, I
3:20
think
p.m.
it's,
It's
that's
morning
6 a.m.
will be
for
6
us.
a.m.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Given
Yeah.
the top 2 teams are going to battle it out, and I actually feel these are going to be the top 2 teams who are actually the main contenders for IPL.
For now, it looks like that.
How far away is Sai Sudarshan from Nicholas Pooran?
I think second or third.
No, he would be a little far away.
No, it's not that far.
He scored a few 40s, Sai Sudarshan.
But I think he's second.
Yeah, he's second. He is just like 27, 28 runs of
Oh,
that.
that's like one
And
match.
within
That's
and
all.
one less match.
Yeah.
One
less.
Nice.
One less.
Yeah.
So Pooran has 7 matches and Sai Sudarshan has 6
Nice.
matches with 357 and 329 runs each.
So they definitely have players who can bag both purple and orange caps, just like how they had in the 22 season. So I think that's what's been good for them, that they've always had good all-rounders, good players overall, not
Yeah.
great players, but just good players, and you can win with those if your chemistry is right. So I think everyone's bullish on GT.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I really think they could be one of the top contenders in the finalists. But I want Punjab and Delhi to play.
Yeah.
But it very well could be a GT versus either Delhi or Punjab.
I mean, if you look at all these 3 teams, Punjab, Delhi, and Gujarat, they have been
Yeah.
working as a unit, which has been missing from most of the 7 teams that
Yeah.
you've discussed in
Okay.
this
But
podcast.
yeah.
Working.
I was about to conclude.
No, we can conclude, but let's just make a let's just make last 2 or 3 points. I think there's always one team in the top 3 that runs out of steam. Last year it was Rajasthan. They didn't like fall out of the contention of top 4,
Yeah.
but they didn't make it to the top 2. I think
Yeah.
they had to play that eliminator and then qualifier 2.
Yep.
Historically, DC has also been that team that runs out of this team. I think RCB ran out of steam in 2020. So yeah, it'd be very interesting to see if like hypothetically, if there's one team that would run out of steam from the top 3, RCB I wouldn't like still keep it as a sure shot top 4 contender. But like let's talk about the other 3. Punjab, GT, or what's the other one? DC. What's one team that could run out of steam?
I honestly think it could be Punjab.
Yeah.
I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah, I think it would be Punjab as well.
I mean, them completing the full circle of not defending that high score, and then going back to defending that 111, then
You just
beating
know
RCB
these
to
things.
close
You have a
games.
Yeah.
weird feeling about stuff like
I
this.
think they're coming around, to going through that bottom pit, and maybe they can rise.
So basically, the conclusion is that they need to win the top 2 if they want to have a chance to win.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
One last point before we conclude. I think let's try to like make a prediction for the
Absolutely, that's
fourth position, because now 3 we have in common, I guess.
I think 4th is where we all differ.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's going to be. Who do we have? We have RCB,
We have RCB, we have SRH, we have
RCB,
Lucknow, we have KKR.
KKR, Rajasthan. Pretty much.
We can just eliminate CSK. Or
Why are we eliminating?
And MI as well. I mean, MI is a
Okay,
contender.
Okay, so I think if you have one already, do you think it's going to be RCB? It has to
I definitely think as an RCB
Sure.
fan, it's going to be
What about
RCB.
you?
I feel it's Lucknow.
No.
Yeah, I think it's heavily reliant on that RCB Punjab game. Being optimistic, I'd say RCB.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Me, I'd also go with Lucknow. My thing is just what I hope is that they can continue the momentum that they
Yeah.
have. If not, then it would obviously go to somewhere else. But if I'm being honest, just looking, I think they'll fly under the radar. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think so. I think so as well. That given that Rishabh Pant's not
Yeah, given all the bashing, if they end up
Yeah.
winning from here.
Yeah, they'll be very fly under the radar kind of team,
Yeah.
and they might upset the third spot team. So,
Yeah.
I think it's a good point for us to end now. We've had a long discussion. Thank you everyone,
Thank you so much
yeah,
for having us.
We'll be tuned after, let's say, around that playoffs time when the group stage ends.
Or maybe a little earlier. Let's
Yeah,
find out.
sure.
Yeah, like just when things are just starting to align,
Yeah.
you can kind of tell.
Now we
people
know
going
like
into
who's
it.
two out of the 4 teams.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah.
Sir.